human trafficking is malum prohibitum. In such a case, malice or criminal intent need not be proved.
Isang simula upang linisin at alisin ang ganitong mga gawain sa ating bansa na nagdudulot ng mga karumal-dumal na krimen. Ang adhikain ng laban na ito ay para maipamana natin sa mga susunod na henerasyon ng mga Pilipino ang isang bansang maunlad, mapayapa at malaya. Bilang isang bayan, tayo ay sama-samang tumahak sa landas patungo sa bagong Pilipinas.
And I wish to ask Mr. Chair, Director Winston Casio. Mr. Chair, may I ask Director Casio, what did they find out in the raid of Lucky South 99? In brief, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to the other members of the committee. Well, for one, we were able to rescue 4 individuals, all Chinese nationals, who informed us that they were kidnapped victims. 1 female and 3 Chinese nationals. 2 of them are now witnesses, complainants in a labor trafficking case that we have filed against Lucky South 99.
Mr. Chair, may we direct the resource speaker to just limit the answer to the question which are being propounded.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second question, Mr. Chair, when was the raid conducted?
Madam Chair, the initial warrant was issued on June 4 of 2024. We were not able to fully implement that warrant because we returned the warrant. The actual operation occurred on June 7, 2024, Your Honor.
Who conducted the search, Mr. Chair?
Madam Chair, that was the CIDG together with the PAOK and if I am not mistaken, also the Special Action Force.
And can you please state in summary the effects and the paraphernalia which you seized during the search?
Madam Chair, if I am not mistaken, during the return of the search warrant, we inventoried about 81 or 82 money vaults. We also were able to inventory, if I am not mistaken, a good number of torture devices, which were electric tasers, baseball bats. Likewise, we were able to inventory and return during the return of the warrant, probably more or less between 1,000 to 1,500 digital devices, Your Honor, that consisted of laptops, personal computers, and cell phones, Your Honor.
And who are the personalities you save, if there are any?
We were able to save basically 4 kidnapped victims, Your Honor, as previously stated, 3 male Chinese nationals and 1 female national.
And who are the personalities you arrested, if there are any?
Madam Chair, during the interview and the subsequent immigration inquest that we conducted together with the Bureau of Immigration, we were able to identify, on the basis of the testimonies of the 4 kidnapped victims, that
Mr.
there was...
Chair, may we direct the resource speaker to answer the question, please? Who were the personalities whom you arrested, if there were any? Meron po ba kayong hinuli during the service of the search warrant?
During the service of the search warrant, ma'am, none.
None.
Yes, ma'am.
And to this date, Mr. Chair, may we know if there are cases filed in court already?
Yes, ma'am. We were able to identify 2 individuals that the 2 kidnapped victims have identified who have perpetrated the actual torture on their persons, Your Honor.
Who therefore are the respondents of those cases that were filed already? Sino po ang mga sinampahan nyo na ng kaso?
So far, Your Honor, only 2 Chinese nationals have been charged in relation to violation of 9208 or the Trafficking in Persons Law and its amendatory laws.
You mentioned about the case of qualified human trafficking. Do you confirm this?
Yes, Your Honor.
I just want to manifest for the record, Your Honor, there is no violation of the principle of sub judice here because what we are trying to solicit from the resource speaker are facts and not comments to the judicial proceeding which could affect the impartiality in the administration of justice. To proceed, Mr. Chair, may we ask the resource speaker, have you come across the names Ryan Colio, Marlon Dulay, Raymart Rivero, and J. Empedrad?
Yes, Madam Chair. I have come across those names.
Mr. Chair, I will suspend the question for the PAOK and I wish to address the next question to Ms. Baterna. Ms. Baterna, may I ask, what is your connection to Lucky South 99? May we confirm, Mr. Chair, if we have Ms. Baterna here?
Miss Baterna?
Considering, Mr. Chair, the information that was given by the COMSEC, that Ms. Baterna is still on the way, then I will be suspending my questions for her. Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, I wish to manifest that this representation has in her possession the sinumpaang salaysay of the names mentioned earlier. And I wish to go back to the PAOK, Director Casio. Can you please enlighten this representation, the committee? What are this affidavit all about?
Madam Chair, the names that you mentioned earlier on actually executed an affidavit stating to the fact that a witness who appeared in this committee who represented herself to be a mere secretary by the name of Ms. Rosalind Baterna is actually an administrative officer and a personal secretary of Ms. Catherine Cassandra Lee.
Mr. Chair, I wish to go back to PAOK. Director Casio, can you please enlighten us what is the crime of qualified human trafficking?
Ma'am, I guess I am a non-lawyer myself, although I have a rudimentary understanding of trafficking in persons and what qualified trafficking in persons may entail. But then again, I guess the question is better addressed to the Department of Justice, who are represented here also, Madam Chair.
Can we hear from the Department of Justice, Mr. Chair? DOJ, can we be enlightened? What is the crime of qualified human trafficking?
For your last question, Congresswoman Luistro.
Wala pa ako sa kalahati.
Miss Baterna is here.
Mr. Chair, do we have the DOJ here? How about the NBI? Do we have the National Bureau of Investigation here? Yusek Dulay, DOJ. Attorney Pagatpat, NBI.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, yung trafficking po, it may be considered qualified. Mr. Chair, pag po committed against...
That you have 30 seconds left.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We are asking the DOJ, Mr. Chair, to enlighten us on the crime of qualified human trafficking.
Mr. Chair, yung human trafficking po may be considered qualified if committed in large scale. That is, meron pong 3 or more victims. Also, kung meron pong minor victim, mako-consider din po siyang qualified human trafficking.
In other words, Mr. Chair, the resource speaker wished to manifest that the consent of the victim is not material when we speak about the crime of qualified human trafficking. I understand that Republic Act number 10364 is a special law. Mr. Chair, may I hear from the DOJ, does this make the law malum prohibitum as distinguished from malum inse?
Mr. Chair, considering po na special law siya, malum prohibitum po siya papasok.
In other words, Mr. Chair, the DOJ confirms that the crime of qualified human trafficking is a malum prohibitum, in which case malice or criminal intent need not be proved. On the assumption, Mr. Chair, that there are evidence establishing the connection of the concerned public officials to Lucky South 99 and evidence to establish knowledge on the commission of illegal activities. Question DOJ, are this enough to include them in the indictment for qualified human trafficking?
Mr. Chair, kung mapapasok po sila doon sa elements ng commission ng human trafficking, they may be considered as subjects po.
Congressman Luistro, your time is up.
Mr. Chair, just last question.
I wasn't able to hear your question, Your Honor, so may I hear the question again, please?
Mr. Chair, for the information of our resource speaker, it was mentioned earlier that the crime of qualified human trafficking is malum prohibitum. In such a case, malice or criminal intent need not be proved. And having said that, Mr. Speaker, the question is, if there's evidence to prove connection to Lucky South 99 and knowledge over the commission of crime, are this basis to include the public officials in the indictment for qualified human trafficking? It's just a yes or a no, Mr. Chair.
From our end, Your Honor, I concur with your statement. Indeed, 9208 as amended is malum prohibitum.
Okay, thank you, DOJ. Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro.